What's up, everybody? We're back with another interview. I'm one of your hosts, JD, TheOtakuFix, of course. Y'all know G as well. Today we have a very special guest, Leaf, the creator of The Last Dimension. First of all, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing excellent. Thank you, JD.
No problem, no problem. First off, thank you for sparing some time and being able to do this interview with us. We greatly appreciate it. We know it's been
Mhm.
over a year
Oh
in the
no,
making.
I.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, it cut for a moment.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
okay. Yeah. So I just said thank you for making some time for us to do this interview.
No, thank you
All right.
for
So
having me.
oh, no problem, no problem. We know it's been a year in the making of us trying to get this together.
Yeah.
And finally it's finally here. So for those who haven't heard of The Last Dimension, can you give the people a brief summary of what your series is about?
All right. The Last Dimension is a series about four classmates that fall into an alien planet, and they have to find a way to survive, and also while trying to return to their home planet, the Earth. Basically, there's lots of adventure
Mm-hmm.
and alien forms and powers because these students happen to be part of a secret institute for kids who have powers. So it's a sci fantasy adventure kind of story.
It definitely is. So what was your inspiration for coming up with The Last Dimension?
My inspiration, it was basically when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
I would watch. I would watch TV. I would watch. My favorite series was Digimon,
Mm.
and this was a series
Sick.
about kids who were like, who just fell into this completely fantastical world. It really inspired me, and I used to play a lot with my little sister,
Mm-hmm.
role playing with the Digimon characters, and eventually that turned into our own characters and our own world and our own set of powers,
Mm-hmm.
and it's basically uh, a callback to Digimon and Kara Capture Sakura and Shaman King.
Okay.
That was like the story. I first planned it as a novel. Actually, I wrote around 300 pages
Wow.
of The Last Dimension as a novel first. I mean, that was uh, 2010s,
Mm-hmm.
but I decided it was better suited for a comic format. And after reading some comics, like the first web comic I read was The Boy Who Fell. It's
Mm.
also a great inspiration.
Okay.
And
Now,
then,
oh, go
yeah.
ahead. Keep going. Keep going.
Oh, yeah. No, I found Webtoon, and then in there I read Kubera.
Mm.
It's a great fantasy webcomic, and it's long running, and the world is very complex. So it really inspired me to try and make The Last Dimension into a comic, like a scroll format comic. So it was like the last push.
Okay. I've heard a lot of I know one person in particular, he's like the head of the Kubera fan club. Naya, a good friend, a good friend of mine, who's also a YouTuber, he loves Kubera. I've only read like up to 3 or 4 chapters so far,
Oh no,
but
give it a
he
chance.
he swears by it. He swears by it. So one
It's
day I'm gonna have to do
amazing.
it. I've heard. I've heard. Now you did say Digimon kind of started off your inspiration for it. So now I have to know. First off, which generation of Digimon was your favorite and which character from that generation?
My favorite was Generation 1,
Hmm.
like the Digimon Adventure generation. My favorite character from that generation was uh, it was Palmon,
Okay.
the the flower Digimon. I really loved her so much.
I
She was like um she was like a little gremlin.
hmm.
She was not particularly pretty, but she had her charm.
Yeah.
I
So
did not like Mimi
okay, I was just about to ask that. Did
as
you like
much.
Mimi? I was just about to ask.
No, no, she was. I understand her,
Mm-hmm.
but she was not my character. For the kids, I would say I liked Izzy,
Yeah,
but I
Izzy was
always
dope.
Yeah.
tended more towards the Digimon in every generation. I mean, I watched up until the fourth one,
Okay.
the Digimon Frontier one. The fifth one, I don't know anything about anymore, sadly.
I don't.
Did they make
Frontier.
a
Digimon
man?
Frontier?
Did I watch Frontier? I was about to ask
Oh,
that.
Frontier was good.
Which one was Frontier?
The one where the kids turned into Digimon.
Oh, I did see that one. I did see that one.
I
Okay.
don't think I seen that one.
You have that one was
That's a good
okay.
one.
It was okay.
Yeah.
I think the first one obviously is like just classic, goated. The second one was cool. It was pretty much more the first one, and they kind of just copy and pasted the characters just a little bit, but they did give them like a little bit of difference. The third one, I'm trying to remember what the third one was.
The third one was a trip. Okay. It was directed. I don't remember the name of this guy, but it's weird. It deviated from the rest of the like Digimon template, and it was so weird. And of all the generations, my favorite
okay, I
character
remember
is
Frontier.
Impmon.
Oh, you
I
had
don't
to
know if
look
you
it up.
remember Impmon.
Yeah, Impmon, the little black like
Yes, demon.
yeah, and then he became when he finally like got his form right, like yeah, he was
Yeah.
legit.
Yeah.
He went through the whole series like or season like being like this little like I don't know like a little troll. He was just bad, and then
Right.
like he finally got his form, and his form was like a beast, dude. It was so tight. Yeah.
Yes.
Good times,
Yes.
great stuff.
Because that's the one that had when Leomon died, right? The little girl
Yeah,
had Leomon.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was
he
it.
killed
That season was legit. That was probably my
It
favorite.
was. It was.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite one. But yeah, I remember Frontiers. Yeah, I didn't like that one.
Man, good times, great stuff, right, people?
Yeah.
Vmon was legit too.
Vmon was
Even though he
Yeah,
like
Vimon was legit.
Vmon was
yeah,
definitely.
even though he's like a knockoff Agumon, yeah, he was still pretty good.
Yeah, but it's,
He was, dude. He was
was
great.
fun.
He was, yeah, he was great. He was great value Agumon, dude. Straight up.
Oh, man. But he still had his charm though. Still had his charm.
Yeah,
it did. He had a good
Funny.
sense of humor.
Yeah,
yeah. Impmon was that dude. Yep.
man. Remember when the world was so simple, people? You know, back then
Yeah.
we just used to watch Digimon, Pokemon, and a whole bunch of other stuff, Sonic, and all that good stuff. Simple times. I feel old now.
Sometimes.
I feel old.
I'm gonna cry now.
Freaking Leomon.
Look, you about to Google
Yeah.
it, huh?
bro. Nah, I remember when Leomon died. I think it was so sad, bro. Like,
It was terrible.
because the little girl wanted to like have her own monster like for forever. I don't remember her name, but I remember her like
Yuri.
one that. Yeah, she just wanted to have her monster,
Yeah,
and she finally was gonna get this fool, and then he tried to like jump through the portal, and he got dropped, bro.
it was
It was all sad, bro.
tragic.
So sad. And she then went like all espresso, and she got possessed at the end. It was
Right.
It was very. It was heavy.
Oh man,
It was dark.
That's crazy how when you think about how like serious those shows were back then. Like we were like kids and we didn't really like it. We didn't like process it like that. You know,
Right.
like
it was just entertainment
Yeah.
back then. Now it's just like,
Yeah.
man, those shows were
Honestly-
messed up.
Yeah, honestly, that's what I'm trying to do with the last dimension. In a sense, I'm sure that the scenes that are like darker don't hit as hard when you're younger. But I see that my adult audience gets like terrified when the and heartbroken with all the
yeah.
reveals and the characters and the suffering.
Yeah, whoo, yeah, it was a lot of suffering. Definitely a lot of suffering, more than what I
yeah, I
thought
had
was gonna
fun.
happen.
That was fun.
So
It was also fun seeing like the fans terrified for the finale. Like, oh my god, what are you going to do? What are you going to
look,
do?
I'm just gonna be honest. I thought somebody was dying. I was just waiting for it. I was like, well, this is the end. Somebody is leaving. I was shocked. I will say I was shocked. And I'm trying not to spoil too much just in case somebody hasn't read it yet and they're gonna watch this interview and go read it. But man, whew, yeah, it was a rough one. Definitely. So how did you come up with the power system for the last dimension?
Well, that It was basically it. I developed it slowly over time with my sister because my goal directing kind of this game we had, this role play we had, was to surprise her. So I would come up with powers, and they would kind of make physical sense up until you hit the fantasy / sci-fi threshold. So it's basically what I condensed it to be is the effects of other dimensions into our own. Those are the powers. Like being able to separate what other hypothetical planes of existence or dimensions can do individually into our reality. So that's why we have the space-time continuum as a like collective power, and also the soul one, because why not? This is fantasy. This is sci fantasy, and I got it into 4 because 4 is I like number 4 for some reason. My characters come in groups of 4. Powers come in groups of 4.
Nothing wrong with that.
And so I basically ended up with 4 different kinds of power. The ones that are information or chance, which is the all matter in the universe is basically information. So in the physic side of things, in the astrophysic sci-fi side of things, there's information. There is soul. That's like the memories and stuff. There's essence, which is what makes one thing a thing and not the other thing. And lastly, there is forces, which is not the same as information. And those are basically the 4 kinds of power in the last dimension. And it is not stated in the comic per se, or not emphasized enough, but these are the dimensions the title's talking about. The last dimension. And I will not spoil what the last dimension is, but it's very related to these planes and these powers. It was, that's fun.
Now
I like physics a lot.
Yeah, I was just about to ask that because you have a lot of references to like the galaxy, solar system, the power structure that you created. And I was gonna ask, were you really heavy into science growing up?
I wanted to be an astronomer when I grew up, but the career astronomy is not so readily available, especially like in my country. I'm from Colombia.
Okay.
So I deviated and went into biology. So what I liked about biology the most was exobiology, which is like the life or the way that life could develop in other planets, which is also kind of hard to study. Because this is a country, a very biodiverse country, and the focus is always in the existing species, not investigation or research into what could be. That's for NASA.
Right.
So I'm a biologist, and I love physics, and I love chemistry. Chemistry is the best. Hence Philip.
Philip, that's one of my favorite. One of my favorite characters, Philip. I'm kind of stuck between who I like more out of Philip and Anne. It's kind of stuck between those two.
Interesting. I didn't expect so many people to like Anne.
Really? You made her so likable though.
Yeah, but I didn't expect people, because she's in appearance she's bland. She's very happy-go-lucky. She doesn't.
I think it's the cute naiveness of her. Like she does not like seem like she's like aware of certain things that's happening right in front of her. Like she's like, I don't know, just like her mind, right?
Yeah, like people tend to like characters who have more of an agency, and is more of a, she reacts to stuff and she lets things happen around her. So I was surprised when so many people liked her.
I think my joy for Anne, and like I started to love Anne a lot more once we kind of found out her backstory and where she kind of came from and how, she came to be what she is. I think that's why I was like, wow.
Yeah, that's also true.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. So, I mean, it all makes sense now. But then it was like, that's so messed up. It was so messed up because I'm like, with a lot of the other casts, it's like, okay, so, Faye is kind of like this. Philip is kind of like this. Alex is normally in his own kind of world a lot of times. And then it's like, Anne is like, it's so tragic and sad about what happened to her. And it was like, man, that's kind of hurtful. Kind of hurtful.
Yeah. I love making characters suffer.
Well, for everybody who's gonna read or has read The Last Dimension, get ready for every character to suffer from now on.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course.
Except for Alex, he's gonna bully everybody.
Alex has his own reasons to suffer.
Now,
people are gonna be like, treat him like Joffrey. Get him out of here.
Oh my god.
Now, I do have to ask this, because this is something that I know is going to come up. If it hasn't come up already in the comment section, by the way, before I ask this, do you read or read majority of the comments on each chapter?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh. Okay. Yes.
Okay. So now, if this hasn't come up yet, I'm going to ask: will any of the main cast, kick the bucket in the future?
That is a very interesting question that I don't think I should answer.
Okay.
The suspense.
I tried, people. I tried, just gonna have to bear the heartache together.
He's like, who kicking the bucket? Let me know now.
Cause okay, she's already said she likes to make them suffer and everything like that. So I know somebody.
Suffering usually comes with kicking a bucket, bro, at some point.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I can't say I will keep you guys guessing.
Cold-blooded.
Well, I know who it can't be because they already technically kicked the bucket. So I know who it's not going to be, but all right.
So how are you able to come up with different languages in the series?
Well, I when I was 13, I don't know. I always liked languages. I have studied 4 languages other than my own Spanish, and I really enjoy the grammar, the different sounds of languages. And when I was 13, I wanted to make my own. So I took elements of some languages I already knew, some I was still learning, and mashed them together in a way, as well as a codified words. The miracle language, which is the language that the alien species uses in the comic, it started as a code, as in I take a word and then run it through a formula to transform it. But that way it started forming the first words, but then I made it evolve and had its own grammar, and eventually now at this point it has a translator somewhere. I think if you Google miracle translator, is a translator that the fans are making.
Trying to decipher your code and figure out what they're saying.
I'm helping them. I'm helping them. But it's fun because people are really engaged trying to decipher the things that I write in the pages, where in the panels where other characters are speaking in Miracle. And it's really interesting and fun because I have a server and there's a channel specifically for deciphering what's going on. And I really love seeing people interact there and try to learn Miracle and try to have conversations in Miracle. It's amazing.
Now, I do have to ask, since you some of the panels and some of the chapters have just that language in it, and then it kind of cuts, and then they start, being translated. Now, now that you have people trying to decipher these languages, do you ever kind of throw a curveball in one of those parts of the chapter to where it really doesn't mean what they might think it means? It's just to kind of give them a curveball just to keep the fun going.
Oh, people started deciphering it after I posted episode 33, I think it was, when Jag appears and he starts talking in the alien language. And back then, I would put some words around the text bubbles of Jag, so that people could kind of try and get sense of what was going on, but not really. And at that point, I think it's not as much as throwing a curveball as it is just not being clear enough.
Okay.
Because what fun would it be if they understood the character and they didn't feel like the confusion that the rest of the main cast, is going through.
Now, what you could do is in one of the languages, if there are other languages to come, and especially if it's like a big cliffhanger at the end of a season, you should put make that language or whatever text bubble is going to be, and probably maybe a foreshadowing or something to the fans, so once they decipher, they be like, oh, this was meant for us, and this is probably something special, like look forward to season 2 when this happens, or season 3 when this happens, something like that.
I actually thought of doing that, but at that time when I thought about it, I didn't know if the language was going to be so well received. So I remember I post and I have a buffer, so I'm working on X episodes ahead before the episodes with the language are posted. So I didn't quite know if it would be well received. I do have the end of one episode where I say this is the language, this is how it's called, and some basic things on it, but it didn't catch up in the comments. It's only in the server where it's studied.
Sounds like you're gonna have to write a book soon with this new language.
Yeah, I have an Excel document. I hope that's enough.
I'm sure it is. So you say 4 languages. What languages are those?
I mean, English. I studied English in school, and then I would say German, Japanese, and French. Maybe Japanese, German, and French. I think that's the right order.
That's more than what I know. I'm trying to learn new languages. What's the best way to go about that for anybody who wants to learn a new language?
Good question. I started learning English. I was taught in school, so I cannot say anything about it. But Japanese, I started studying on my own, and when I could find classes in my area and afford them, I got into classes when I was 16.
Okay.
So that was interesting, but I started on my own. Same with French. I also started on my own and then went to classes. And actually, same with German. I started on my own and then went to classes. I don't think there is a specific way to go about it. I think it just depends on how you learn and remember and retain information best. I think that's a case by case thing.
And are you fluent in all of these languages, or at least in the other ones? Other than
I
English?
understand Japanese. I can read and speak French. The German is the one that I have been studying for the shortest time. But I thought I could. I thought I could understand German, but then I went to Austria and I was proven wrong, because that's not the same German they speak in Germany. But yeah, I would say I can defend myself pretty well in Japanese and in French speaking.
Okay.
And then I don't know. I hope I wouldn't starve.
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to learn some new languages
That's good.
just to go places and not feel so I guess out of the loop, and actually know what I'm doing and won't get lost
languages?
I do want to learn Japanese, and I do want to start learning Korean as well.
Oh, Korean! I want to learn Korean.
Yeah, so that's like the two I want to start off with, and then work my way to different languages from that.
Japanese is not as hard as they make it to be. It's pretty simple. The grammar is very straightforward. There is no. Yeah, it's. I don't think it's as hard as it could appear due to the amount of characters, especially if your focus is going to be speaking it and listening to it.
Okay.
That way, it's way easier than German.
Got you. So last dimension, if I'm not mistaken, I think I do remember this. You did start it as a Canvas series, correct?
Yes, I did.
How has the transition been from going to Canvas to an original?
It has been very interesting. I started in Canvas, on Canvas, and I posted there for 2 years and a bit before I got contacted. So I had lost all hope that anyone at Webtoon would ever want to make it an original. I just was posting it because I need to tell this story. No matter what, I need to tell it. Can't live in my head.
Right.
Just in my head. And the transition was interesting. It was exciting, very exciting. It also took a lot of time because I had to start over. So I had already posted 70 episodes in there. And they were lengthy episodes. They were pretty lengthy. I took 2 weeks in every episode. Episodes were like 80 panels long when the comic standard was like 50. So I really... But I am thankful that it started over because I was able to learn so much during Canvas that my writing improved a lot, and I think the characters are better fleshed now, and also the storyline is way clearer, even if people still say they're confused. So it was a blessing. It was amazing. It was... I spent 9 months in pre-production.
Wow.
Because I had to.
That's crazy.
Write. Yes, it is. But most series take that or longer, actually, because you have to write the outline for your entire series. Have that outline checked by your editor and approved. Then write every season's outline, and then also every episode beat, as in this episode this and this and this will happen, and also that have that checked and approved. And after that is where you have to start to work. The thing is, you don't start posting once you have the first 3 episodes. You see when you check a new series on originals, you see they have like 3 free episodes and 3 fast pass episodes. 6 episodes in total. You have, with 6 episodes, you have had to be working for 6 weeks at the minimum. That is 6 weeks of you not posting, right? A month and a half. But what happens is you have to have more episodes. You have to have last time I checked, they required 15 episodes already done, and 15 episodes divided by 4 is almost 4 months of work that people are not seeing. And the thing is, in the first episodes you have a lot of corrections. You have to get them checked and checked again and revised and corrected. So that's not a week of work, that's like a month. And it's taxing because you don't get to have this rush of oxytocin, of dopamine whenever you post something, because in Canvas you just finish it and you post it and receive the validation of an audience right after you finish, so you can feel like the work was worth it. And you go, okay, the episode's done, I posted it, I received my satisfaction of having it out. Now to work on the next one. You get that wave of positivity before going to work on the next one. No, you have to work for 15 plus episodes, depending on what you agree to, before ever showing it to the world.
Wow.
That's insane. that amount of work sounds crazy.
Yeah. And especially when you're used to getting feedback from the audience and kind of working through them. Now it's just, well, I have to go dead silence. And then hopefully they like it when it comes out because it's already done.
Yeah.
Can't
you
go
do
back.
all this work off the grid and then be like, nah, that's not it. Like, what?
Right.
That's crazy.
That's insane. Oh, man. Well, I'm glad it turned out great.
Right.
Thank you.
So that's always a good thing. It turned out great.
There's also comments like, "Oh yeah, the author listened to us, and like when we said last episode to do this and that," and I'm like, "No, dude, that episode's been done for 3 months."
Like they didn't even realize it. You already did it.
Don't even know. Yeah. That's been done.
They're like, see what we did, guys, with our uproar? Let's go. Let's do it again.
It does work. Our voices were heard.
That's insane to think about. It is. Because you know what? I do that. Like when I watch TV shows and I see the next episode, I'd be like, that's what I'm talking about. They should have done that for the start. And it's like, yo, that thing's been filmed for like 6-7 months. Like it made a difference, huh? So that is insane to think about.
Right. Because we do the same thing when reading and watching stuff. It's like, finally, it was like, well, that's been done. You know, you just had to get to that point. You know, craziness. So now that season 1 is over, how has the reception been overall? Are you happy with it? Do you feel like there's things you need to work on? Has the fans been reaching out, giving positive messages?
I am very happy with how it came out. I am very happy that it was, it had the intended effect of surprising people and also giving them what they wanted to see at the end of a season. I think I managed that okay. The reception as for messages has been amazing. Everyone has been so kind and so supportive and so encouraging. And all the fan art, that's crazy. I've gotten so much fan art.
I have seen that.
So good. Everyone's so good. It really encourages me to keep going, to keep telling this story. I must be doing something right if people connect to the story to this level and really like the characters enough to make art of them and to make alternate universes, and there's so much activity around the series that it's amazing. I am truly humbled and grateful for everything that the fans have made and the messages I've gotten.
That's great to hear.
They're amazing.
That's great to hear, because I know, especially, being after, you had to go radio silence, and then, for the episodes, you have to wait for people's reactions. And now that everything's over, that at least where you were going with the story, you was on the right direction, you was on the right path, and everyone received it the way you hoped they would. So that's always good to know.
Yeah, and the audience is very loyal, to say, as in people who get into the last mention, they keep up with it. Like, there's a lot of people who do. It's not because I've seen some series that just have a lot of traction in the first episodes, and then it just falls apart. People just are not interested. They were interested because the art was very pretty, or they had a very stereotypically hot character. But with The Last Dimension, I've seen that the audience, the readers, are very invested when they really do get invested into it, and it's so good.
Oh, definitely. So how did you come up with the designs of some of the characters? Because every character kind of has their own kind of flair and quirkiness to them. So what was it like in the design process of some of these characters?
Alex had a fire shirt in my head when I was 15 and I was playing role playing. So no, I don't think there is a how do you say that? A straightforward way that I went through with the designs. My designs have always been kind of simple, so actually the problem was trying to make them unique and not so lame or simple looking. Even if I have to draw them over and over again, I still I can't have everyone like wearing plain t-shirts. So I had to work around what I wanted. For Alex, I wanted something fiery, something vivid, so I just said orange is the way to go. And the designs on the clothes, I tried to keep them geometrical. I tried to keep them very easy to replicate, more for my sake, but it also serves to help the how do you say that, the easiness in which readers also can retain and redraw the characters. So I try to keep them simple, but I try to add some sci-fi elements to them, some lines where there doesn't really need to be lines, there don't really need to be lines, and some squares that are a different color for some reason or another. I don't know. Character design is not my strength, but
well, it turns out good. Every character, is likable. A lot of people relate to them, and I haven't seen any complaints on the design. So I think you're doing a good job. So
I mean, keeping Anne the soft girl flowy and with lots of curves in her design, like their hair, like the dress. So is and keeping Alex very square, because he's more solid, he's more impulsive, decisive, and Fi, I like her wearing the uniform because it makes her a blank state. She still is not her own person. She constantly asks, what would Susie do? I don't have any memories of me coming to the institute or before I came to the institute. So she is a blank slate, so I chose her uniform to reflect that in a way. And Philip is shy and he tries to hide himself, so baggy clothes and scarf to hide himself. Like anytime he is stressed, he just covers his face and his hands and everything. And I think that's basically it. The secondary cast was harder, way harder.
That bad, huh?
Because there's something about that. That I cannot still say, but they are a kind of, they are mysterious, but they're also a comic relief group in a way.
Okay, because I was about to ask which is the second cast, and then when you said comic relief, I know exactly which cast you were talking about. Because it was another group that came in. I was like, okay, which one are you defining as second cast? But I know which cast you're talking about.
No, I'm talking about Corey.
Yeah,
Corey and his minions.
Yeah, I'm about to say the minions because they don't really have minds of their own.
No, they're just
he punks them and tells them what to do. He's like, do this, and
right. That's what I say.
But it's synchronicity, so I give him that, like when they're fighting and stuff like that. So
yeah,
to an extent.
To an extent, yeah. Actually, the only thing that I had defined for that second cast was Muyen's colors. Muyen is wearing a blue overall and with a white shirt, and his wounds / scars are pink. So I could sneakily place the trans flag in there. But that's it. They are a an interesting group, and we will learn more about them in season 2.
Okay. And what about the third cast?
The third cast, the Pied group.
Mhm.
Okay. The Pied group was a group that I had planned forever ago. The designs, I had to put them through the designing grind for so many times. So it was I was not satisfied with the designs, not even after I drew them in the first episode. And when the reception was good in the first episode they appeared, I was like, oh, damn, this grew up.
You didn't like it?
It's not that you don't like it. It's like when you stare at something for too long, when we say you say a word for too many times and you forget, like it doesn't make sense to you anymore. Like I had been seeing these designs and I have been making iterations for those designs for so long that I had lost any concept of neutrality, of objectivity.
I got you. Understood. Definitely understood.
Yeah.
Understood. So I do know a lot of authors base their characters on, people that they know or their family members. Are any of your characters based off of, any family members or people you met or people you've seen or know?
One. And that's Philip, and he's based on me.
He's based on you. Wow.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
I would have never guessed that.
Oh.
I would have never guessed that. Okay.
But yeah, that's the rest of them are just their personalities have been given by me and by my sister because we used to role play them, but they're not based on any real person. None of them are. The rest of them.
Okay, no problem with that.
I just doodled them once in a piece of paper, and we decided, oh, that's their name and that's their personality, and that's it. And they evolved, of course, and they changed, and their personality also changed a lot. But it was never a character or even another media's character, because that's also a thing that happens. You have a character that you like a lot, so you make your own character based off this other existing character from this other existing franchise or media that you really enjoyed. But that also curiously didn't happen here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's curious. I thought of it.
All right. That threw me for a loop. That definitely threw me for a loop. I didn't expect you to be Philip.
Oh yes. Yes.
That is crazy.
It no longer he's not a self-insert at this point. He's not I don't see Philip as me anymore, but I based him off me.
Okay. Definitely nothing wrong with that though.
All right, so this one's for the fans out there. What can they expect for season 2?
Ooh, for season 2, we can expect a lot of explanations. Not as in lore dumps, but many things that people are asking are going to be explained. Like, what are chondrias? Why are chondria powers so ethereal? Because people at this point cannot, like it would happen in other media, they cannot make up what a power from this or that chondria would be. And that's intentional. Because chondrias are powers, by the way, they are left very vaguely explained, and sometimes I've thrown false information in there because that's what the kids, like the main cast, already knows.
That would make sense because they wouldn't properly know like what it really is. They're not like adult scientists or something that's been testing, and so they only can assume. Makes sense.
So a lot of answers to many fan questions, and of course the interactions between the group 1 and group 2 that everyone has been waiting for since Canvas.
Yes.
In Canvas they never met, and well, I mean, not to spoil anything, but they will eventually, as everyone expects, meet.
Now, I do have a side question.
Yes, please.
Try not to spoil. There is one character who lost a arm.
Yes.
Will that character be getting their arm back? Because I felt so bad.
No. No, arms don't grow back.
I mean, we have scientists and all these other things. So
yeah, I mean, that would be going into explanations, but so far, technology on Earth is it is more advanced than the technology we have right now in reality, but not so much as to grow back an arm.
Darn.
Sadly.
Darn.
But I also wanted some disabled representation.
Nothing wrong with that.
So yeah.
Nothing wrong with
thing.
that. Poor kid.
Yeah. Higher stakes when you can't grow your arms back, huh?
Yeah. That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Going forward.
Also drama. Lots of drama for season 2. Not that nobody expected it, but
well, I mean, some people probably didn't expect it.
okay, some people probably don't.
I appreciate you sticking to that though, because you know how like they always try to bail characters out by doing some cheap, campy way of bringing back a limb or bringing the character back themselves completely. Like, oh, they died. So
yeah,
actually, stick to your guns. It's
sound like you're taking shots at Fairy Tail, G.
They know what they do over there. They know what they do.
Oh man.
But yeah, so that's good. Stick to that. Permadeath too.
Yeah.
Nobody
would
comes
like
back.
it.
Permadeath. Nobody comes back.
Permadeath.
When they dead, they're dead.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Bye.
Exactly. I like permanent death. I like that when you see a character die, it actually dies. It's not a thing that's off-screen death. That's like, I mean that has a pass in my book because I kind of did it. Off-screen death that's turns out not to be a death, but because I mean that way is not like resurrecting a character. It's just like not showing what happened.
Yeah.
Not being clear about it. It's not like making a decision and then going back on it. But yeah, I do like the idea of permanent death. It makes the story more interesting, at least to me.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Big fan of it.
Agreed. Same. I rather the death because it's just more impactful that way.
Yep. And you feel that, like, especially if it's one of the characters you like a lot, and like there's no chance for them to come back once they die, like it hurts you a lot more.
Yeah.
Then you sit in the back of the head, oh, they'll be back, no problem. My hero. Yep. So they got a cheat code Erie over there. She can just bring whoever the hell she want back. Give them their powers back. Yeah. So
my hero slander continues. Okay.
And I like my hero, but you know how they get down over there, bro. This is what it is.
I mean, it's a few series that death doesn't fully apply to certain characters.
Dragon Balls.
That was one. Demon Slayer is another one. If you read the manga,
yeah, Miss Slayer.
yeah, that's definitely one that it's a good bit of series that death doesn't really apply.
Yeah, stick with it. Permadeath. Stick with it.
He like, you know what? I'm thinking about it now. Yes, permadeath. That's the way.
Don't let the crowd freaking change it.
You trying to make it go the Akame got killed route?
Hey, you damn right. We love that.
Oh man. All right. So, who is your favorite character in the series?
Oh, I am torn between Dotsu and Philip. He's just an anxiety ball all over. He's just a mess. I just love writing him. Dotsu. I mean, this is like everything is exponentially terrible.
Yeah.
To him, but he's also like very smart but very dumb at the same time. He's a dork. So I relate to him a lot. And there's also Philip.
Dotsu was my favorite for a while too.
His he just doesn't seem very capable at this point because we haven't seen him do like a lot. But I think he's a decent character. I think he's my favorite with Philip, because I mean Philip is like my brain baby. He's the one that I have put more care and suffering into. So
now I do have to ask you this. So there was a panel when we was with the second group and they was talking, and there was a character that looked like Philip.
Oh yes.
Now, was that Philip, or is that Philip in the future, or a part of his family? Can you elaborate on that if you can?
I mean, as far as the second cast has stated, yes, that is Philip, and yes, that's Philip from the future. Because they have also stated that they come from the future and went accidentally into the past.
Right. Okay. Because that's what I thought, and I'm pretty sure that's what a lot of other people thought. But just for some people's like, well, maybe they misremembering, or maybe that's like a different person or whatever the case. So just wanted to get that clarification for everybody who was on the fence about it.
It just got creepy-fied.
Yeah, because I remember I was like, no, that can't be my boy. That can't be Philip. Philip's gonna be an animal fan. Poor guy. G like, I can't.
Heck yeah. Character development. I mean, suffering development.
I don't know, that Philip looked like more suffering. I don't know how much development that Philip gets, but he definitely like he suffered a lot more.
Are you surprised at this point, knowing what I like to do?
No, I'm not.
No, she's putting all the other X's together though. It's making more sense.
Yeah, it's making a lot more sense now. From now on, I'm expecting everybody to just lose limbs, cry, death. I'm expecting it.
Despite all I say, I aim for wholesomeness, in the storytelling as well.
And pay close attention to the premonitions. The truth is there.
Yeah,
the truth is
face sees all.
Actually, if you check Vice Premonitions, you can see like a lot of things that will happen in season 2. I love writing Easter eggs. That's my favorite thing to do. Not Easter eggs, foreshadowing. I like placing little snippets of what's going to happen, and people have already before the things that happened in the last 3 episodes of the season happened. Some people had already speculated that it would happen based on panels in episode 12. So I like drawing little sneak peeks into what's going to happen, and Five's visions are the best conduit for that.
Okay, all right. So as we getting ready to wrap up, for anyone who wants to start their own webtoon series after reading yours, do you have any advice for them on how to get started, or how they should go about it?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of advice that's circling around. It's basically the don't wait until you're good enough, start now. Also, the don't post your first as your first work your most prized and valuable story, which is an advice that I don't quite agree with. If you want to write a comic, ask yourself, why do you want to write a comic in comic format? Why should it be a comic and not a novel? What is it going to make it worth all the effort? Because doing a comic is a lot of effort. And those are like basic advices that I see thrown everywhere, and you can check any YouTube videos on how to start a webtoon. You will get lots of great advice in there. Not every advice is for every person, but I would like to take another route for these advices. Is I think you, as an artist, as a digital artist, you should take care of your body. Damn,
Yes.
it's so important. Is because I see artists posting about their carpal tunnel like it's some kind of trophy. No, dude. If you're 20 something and you have a carpal tunnel and you are suffering and you have back problems and you just push through, they won't go away, and they will keep you from doing what you love to do, which is making comics. So take care of your body, listen to your body. If you're having a health problem, and when I say body, I also include brain as in mental health. If you're having mental health issues, that's also going to prevent you from working on your comics. So listen to your body. If you want to write a story, make sure that it will make you happy. So even though I see this advice, I will repeat it, I will echo it. Write for yourself. Of course, you can include elements for an audience, elements that you know will be popular, but if you only write with an audience in mind, you end up with bland copies of the copy of the copy of the isekai that just is a bunch of tropes put together with pretty art that will attract a lot of people in the first episodes, but then it becomes boring because you're not writing for yourself, you're writing the tropes that you think will work for an audience. Write for yourself, write the story you want to read. Keep your body and in your mind healthy for your story's sake. And just don't wait until you're good enough. You're never gonna be good enough. Never. You're never gonna be good enough in your own eyes.
Right.
Trust me. I suck. I still see my hair and like, ew. When will I improve? Have I been asking myself for years. And at this point, I am published. I am a webtoon original author, and I still don't feel satisfied with my art. You're never going to be or to feel like you are good enough. So just start writing your story, start drawing it. You'll only improve when you work on it.
Okay. That's some great advice, because had a podcast recently where we discussed like a lot of authors, are they being overworked because of, we've seen a lot of artists go down as far as like health issues. Like we know on the Japanese manga side, a lot of artists and authors, health has been declining, series go on hiatus and never return. Hunter for prime example, Tagashi, like his health can never, he can never stay healthy. And then now it seems like it's kind of coming into the webcomic side where you have Dubu, the artist of Solo Leveling, a couple of other authors, SIU being one of them, who works on Tower of God, has been having health issues and trying to stay healthy. So yes, definitely make sure you stay healthy, take care of yourself. Your loyal fans will always be there. That's what I like to tell a lot of authors. Your loyal fans will always be there, and whenever you come back, they will be there, welcoming you with open arms and gonna continue supporting you. And I just think that should be, first priority for everyone. Just take care of yourself, because if you don't, then your series will never finish, and then we'll just be sitting here like, well,
Exactly. There's another thing is people don't recognize the signs of burnout. They're different for everyone, but you usually realize you're closing to burnout when you're already deep in. And that burnout, you can take months to recover from it. It's like when I finished the first season, 52 episodes. I started with a buffer of 9-ish episodes, and I ended up with a buffer of 1 week. It's an achievement, honestly. Many people don't get to maintain their work conditions enough to keep the buffer. So I am lucky in that sense. I managed to maintain a buffer, but it was at the cost of my mental health in a way. I took a whole month to decompress, and it felt really bad because when you're burnt out, you're not resting, you're just recovering, and it feels like you're wasting your time. But the fact that artists get burned out and they don't realize, and then they post like, I've been in an art block for months, dude. No, that's not just an art block, that's burnout. You have been asking too much from yourself. So if that was something that more people spoke about, I think at least the independent comic community would benefit a lot from it. To be fair, Webtoon North America is lenient with author breaks. I could have taken a break anytime I wanted. I just needed to ask. And many of my colleagues do ask and do get breaks. But I see that I see, and everyone sees, that when the industry becomes more competitive, the requirements of posting weekly are more and more strict, and you can see that in Japan and in Korea. But for now, the American industry is holding up. Fortunately, I don't know if that will keep happening, but we have to keep talking about it,
right?
So that it doesn't hit us as hard as creators.
You know what? And I have an idea about that. I'm gonna talk to you about it. Off it here. I do have an idea about it. Something to get to topic, discuss more. But I'll definitely write you about that and see if we can do something. I do have an idea.
Hey.
But okay. So last question before we go ahead and wrap it up. Your 5 favorite webtoons.
Ooh, my 5 favorite webtoons. That is so hard. Okay, I'll start with 4 Leaf.
Okay.
4 Leaf is a fantasy series about a girl who has a whimsical friend that turns out to be kind of imaginary, and she ends up in this world, this parallel different world where people don't dream and there are witches and magic, and it's such a wholesome, heartwarming story with drama and with action. It's amazing. 4 Leaf. Stray Souls. Okay, Stray Souls is a Game of Thrones in comic form. It's brilliant. It has a diverse, huge cast of characters. Every character suffers, which is amazing. And it's a fantasy story about a girl who has a special soul. And in this world, there are also reapers who kill humans, and healers who can, heal. The power system is amazing. You should.
I'm looking that one up. I'm looking it up.
the art, it's offensively good. I love it.
Found the Stray Souls. Gotcha.
Please give it a read. It's so good. It has a big cast, so it's best when you binge it.
You know what's funny? Now that I see Stray Souls, that's actually the character for the guy who did the thumbnail for the last podcast actually used. And I didn't know that was even Stray Souls. I was like, okay, that's a cool looking character. I'm like, okay, now I gotta read it because now I know what it is.
Oh yeah, you gotta. Let me see. Other comics. I mean, I'm gonna say Kubera
Mm-hmm.
But I want to actually let me check. Say comics that are published by North American authors.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say do check out Rialta.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantasy. It's about people who have powers and shapes based on their zodiac signs.
Mm-hmm.
But and of course there's magic. There is magic. There always must be magic.
Mm-hmm.
There is also, let me see. I love so many. This one's already finished, so you can read it. It's Asterion.
Okay.
Asterion is about an agency of stars that grant wishes. It's drama and it's fantasy and it's so good. And if you don't cry, who are you?
Now I have to cry though. So if I don't cry, I don't know how to deal with that.
No, it's okay. You don't need to cry, but your heart will break at some episodes. Many of them, by the way. Sorry, not sorry. Please enjoy it.
All right.
This is so hard because I love. Oh, okay. Seed. Seed is a science fiction story about a girl who happens to get in contact with an advanced AI. And the AI has many plans, and it's very hard for Emma, the girl, to fully comprehend them because she forged some sort of distrustful friendship with this AI. It's great, and the art is fantastic. Please check it out. The art is so good. My mouth waters. Oh no, I want to keep going. Stop me. Space Boy, City of Blank. Lavender Jack, Woven. Woven's fantastic. Okay, I'm sorry. I overstepped.
It's all good. No problem.
Sorry.
No problem whatsoever. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and end it there. First off, I want to thank you again for joining us.
Thanks.
For taking time out to talk to us. I know we're probably interrupting your rest and relaxation before you really get back into season 2. So again,
Rest. I'm already back working into season 2. It's already all scripted.
Well, definitely thank you for taking time out to join us. Is there anything you want to plug before we go ahead and head out? Any other projects or anything you're working on?
No, right now just follow me on I'd say Twitter, even if it's becoming unscrollable. But yes, Twitter, I'm Leaglem, Leaglem. And I'm Leaglem in basically every other social media. I post also in the webtoon creator profile. I post art related to the series in there. And for any news, I'll keep you updated in there if you are curious about the status of season 2.
Alrighty. That's going to be it for this one. Appreciate everybody for dropping by and taking time to watch. If you enjoyed, make sure to drop a like, sub to the channel. Also, go ahead and sub to The Last Dimension. The link to that series will be in the description, so you don't have to go and search and scour the interwebs. It will be right there for you to go ahead, read, sub, and then wait for season 2 like the rest of us. Until next time, we'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Peace.